She said people like you don't belong here. The words sliced through the afternoon like broken glass, and for a second, even the birds went quiet. I stood on my own porch, keys still in my hand, while Karen, our HOA president, smiled like she'd just won something. What she didn't know was my phone was already recording in my shirt pocket, capturing every syllable, every breath, every ugly pause. Neighbors froze behind curtains. One kid actually dropped his basketball. If you love powerful stories, you don't want to miss this. But before we continue, tell us where you are watching from. It makes us happy to see how far our stories travel. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Karen adjusted her designer sunglasses and started listing community standards like she was reading commandments. Apparently, my security camera was too visible. My welcome mat was too bold. My existence was too much. I almost laughed. Instead, I asked if she wanted lemonade. That confused her. Karen hates losing control. What she didn't realize was I had spent 3 months documenting every selective rule enforcement in this neighborhood, every ignored violation from her friends, every fine mysteriously erased. My folder was thicker than the HOA handbook. Later that evening, Karen emailed me a violation notice, page 1, page 2, page 3. She felt powerful. By midnight, I had sent one email back attaching the audio, and I copied the entire HOA board and, just for balance, the neighborhood group chat. Karen replied. Karen replied at 6:12 a.m. The subject line just said, "Let's talk." No emojis, no fake smiley professionalism, just panic wearing business casual. I made coffee, sat on my porch, and watched her SUV crawl past my house twice before finally parking. She walked up holding printed papers like a shield. I smiled and waved like we were old friends. That almost made her trip on my perfectly HOA-approved walkway. She started with, "There's been a misunderstanding." I offered her a chair. She refused. Control thing. Instead, she launched into policy language, bylaws, community harmony speeches. I let her talk. People always reveal more when you let silence do the work. Then came the twist. She said the board never authorized her to send me violation notices alone. I blinked. Slowly. Sweetly. Funny, I said, sliding my tablet across the table, because I have 14 emails where you signed as on behalf of the board. Her face did that thing, like when milk almost boils over. Neighbors suddenly found reasons to water plants, walk dogs, exist very loudly nearby. Karen lowered her voice and asked what I wanted. I told her the truth. I want fairness and an apology. She laughed, actually laughed, called me dramatic. That's when my phone buzzed. New email from the HOA treasurer. Subject line, emergency board meeting, 7 p.m. tonight. Karen's phone buzzed too. Same email. She went pale. I sipped my coffee. "See you tonight, Karen," I said, and for the first time, she didn't have anything to say. By 6:55 p.m., the community clubhouse was packed. Not just board members, neighbors, curious teens, even Mr. Alvarez, who hadn't attended a meeting since 2009. Word travels fast when power starts wobbling. Karen walked in like she still owned the room, but her smile was stretched too tight, like plastic wrap over boiling water. The treasurer cleared his throat and started with, "We have serious concerns about unauthorized enforcement actions." Karen tried interrupting. Twice. Failed both times. I almost felt bad. Almost. Then they played it. The audio, her voice filled the room. Clear. Undeniable. Ugly in a way microphones don't forgive. You could hear the moment she thought she was untouchable. Gasps rippled across folding chairs. Someone whispered, "Did she really say that?" Mr. Alvarez muttered something in Spanish that sounded very disappointed. Karen stood up so fast her chair tipped. She started blaming stress, misinterpretation, context. The classic apology without apology starter pack. Then the second twist landed. The treasurer announced an independent audit of all HOA violations issued in the last year. Karen turned slowly toward me. I gave her the softest smile I had, the kind that says I tried to be nice first. Votes were called. Emergency suspension pending investigation. 3 hands raised slowly, then 5, then all but 1. Karen's. She grabbed her purse and left without looking at anyone. My phone buzzed again. New email. Subject, formal apology draft attached. I opened it and started editing. Please like, comment, and subscribe. The apology went out 2 days later. Not hidden in email threads, not buried in HOA paperwork. Front page of the community newsletter. Karen's name at the bottom. Every word reviewed by the board's attorney. Every sentence, careful, heavy, permanent. She resigned the same afternoon, quietly. No dramatic speech, no last power play. just a cardboard box and a very silent parking lot. But the real plot twist? The audit uncovered years of selective enforcement. Fines erased for friends, violations invented for people she didn't feel fit the community image. The board voted to refund every unfair fine. Thousands of dollars flowed back into neighbors' accounts. People who barely spoke before were suddenly sharing recipes, tools, and weekend barbecue invitations. A month later, they asked me to help rewrite the enforcement transparency policy. Not as a board member, as a resident voice. I said yes, but only if meetings were live streamed and records stayed public. They agreed in under 10 seconds. The sweetest revenge wasn't watching Karen lose power. It was watching the neighborhood become something better after she left. Last week, I installed one more camera, facing the street where kids now ride bikes after sunset without parents worrying. Sometimes I sit on my porch with lemonade and wave at everyone who passes. Belonging isn't something someone like Karen gets to grant or deny. It's something you build together, quietly, every day. Please like, comment, and subscribe.